Hey, Mum, is it time for a yarn? A yarn at the...
Caravan?
Have we covered that one?
Yeah.
Should we do that once more?
No. Hi. Welcome to the first episode of Yarn at the Caravan. We're giving this a go.
Yeah, so truth be told, we've actually already been through this conversation once, but the battery ran out halfway through.
And the sound was shit.
101 videography.
But the overwhelming feedback was that we should kind of start with how the world this came to fruition. A year, which is kind of the plan, in our pink caravan with our family travelling around New Zealand.
Yeah. Anyway, we kind of thought, look, we're sitting in Auckland, I'm working, servicing this massive mortgage, and
the
it seems
interest on a massive mortgage.
Yeah. Interest only, full transparency. So we're just literally just servicing it. It seems to be not decreasing anyway. And we're now that Marnie has actually built her business up to the point where it's generating some decent cash flow, and we. And it is transferable. It's one that can travel with us. We were like, why don't we go tour the country? And we sort of thought getting.
It was your idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I proposed it, and then Marnie was all over it.
And maybe a bit of background as well. I guess the conversation even started because I was kind of complaining that I wasn't digging life, just in the sense that I felt I didn't have time to give to my business, and at the same time I didn't have time to give to the kids, so I felt like I wasn't doing anything well, and it almost had got to a point where something's got to give, and Steve kind of came to the party and kind of came up with the perfect plan. Because the amazing thing about this plan, or why I thought it was so amazing, is so here we have a plan that means that Steve takes on equal or more share of parenting. I have more time to do my business, but also that I could travel the country and meet my customers, and that's the connection with my customers is a big part of my business. So we kind of kept having wines and kept realising that actually
It ticked all the boxes,
and financially it worked, which was the big hold up with our other schemes.
Yeah, like we sat down and naturally, you do the numbers and feasibility on all this sort of stuff, and materially we reckon we will be better off after a year on the road than we would be just battling away in Auckland, and trying to save that little bit of money that's left over at the end.
Which we'd gone to, and actually another part of it, which I think maybe we underestimate how much this contributed to the idea, was that we had a revelation of we'd watched the minimalism documentary and Matt Devella's YouTube, and I don't like minimalism. I think simplifying, realising what matters to you in life and cutting the rest of the shit out, and being intentional. We'd gone through that already, so that played into this as well, and we were already saving a bit of money because we were making our own coffees, but and saving $80 a week, which is great, but that's not going to get you anywhere. Whereas a big life change like this, look, we still have to be careful with money. In fact, we have to be more careful with money, but we're intentional with where we spend our money now, and we just we wanted adventure was a big part of it. We wanted to have an adventure.
Well, while I did love my job, but comparing just essentially another year of professional work versus a year on the road, feeling like I'm fully exploring our backyard here in New Zealand, and not just being typical Aucklanders who have been to your South Island hotspots, etc.
True story.
Yeah.
But also for you exploring parenthood in a more, Steve was 110% parent when he was home, but he was gone 10 hours a day. so exploring that more full-time parenthood is an interesting part of it as well, which is a whole another video.
I mean, because I laughed with colleagues that, essentially getting to work was a holiday from home life. I mean, which is a sad reflection on the whole thing, but it's the nature of it.
So yeah, we from that afternoon, I think Steve handed in his notice or talked to his HR person pretty quickly and gave 3 months notice. So basically from that afternoon till the day we left was 4 months.
Yeah.
And
we talked pretty quickly, and it gave us a very clear timeline, because this is sort of one, if you
stew on it too much. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the number of people since we've done this who talk about wanting to do it and would love to do it, but then wouldn't necessarily follow through on it. We just knew if we talked about it, we had a big complex almost of having these ideas and not following through on them. So to actually take this and go, yeah, fuck, we're doing this. What are the next steps? Boom, 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 and then we moved pretty quickly. Which there were quite a few steps to get this done. Like, as I said, we had this. Well, have this big old mortgage, right? And we had to. We actually had to extend that a little bit in order to buy this caravan, to be able to finance the full amount.
We had to rent out our house, find tenants, we had to get it ready to rent out.
And it was in a pretty sorry state leading up to, after 3 years of parenthood.
Find the caravan, which is a whole nother video.
Yeah.
Find the right caravan. Minimal downsize. We had to go through a lot of shit. We had accumulated a shitload of shit.
Had accumulated a shitload of shit.
Steve still had sports gear from a cricket box.
I used the boxing gloves regularly.
A cricket box. Whenever you last used a cricket box that I had to handle your sweaty
box.
balls.
That's a story for another video.
It was a spontaneous idea that ticked all the boxes, and we just knew we had to jump on it. Otherwise, it was just going to be another coulda, woulda, shoulda.
I think it's probably time that we give ourselves a quick introduction.
Yeah. Who are we? I guess people actually wanted to more know about you, but
do they really though? I think they've probably come here to see you, given that most of the people on here
I'm Marnie, and I have Eskimo Now, which is an online clothing business. I make statement t-shirts for women and kids, and girl power is what I'm all about. And before that I was a journalist, community papers, and then I moved to women's magazines, and then I got the fuck out of that business, out of that industry, toxic world. Stephen.
Myself. Originally started my career as an engineer, did structural engineering, stuck around in that for about 6 years, give or take, and got chartered and everything, but wasn't ultimately massively passionate about pursuing a career in engineering. So
you weren't passionate about designing,
about doing physics calculations on a daily basis with pen and pencil? No. So then after that I did a startup for 4 years, tech startup, which was incredible experience, massive highs and lows, but ultimately had to round that up in 2016, I think, and moved to Sky TV. Did a bit of
because that got you into the startup world and the knowing about raising money for
all of that sort of stuff, right? Like early stage investment, exactly that sort of stuff. And then that's what I did essentially at Sky TV. Then moved on to Media Design School, which was my last role, where I was there for 18 months or so.
Give a bit of background on Steve. So Steve is a passionate gamer. Media Design School was actually a pretty dream job for Steve, because they where people go to train for animation, game design, creative advertising, all sorts of things like that, but they are very well known for their game design.
Yeah.
And Steve's role there was he was the conduit between student and industry. He worked with the kids who were designing games to help them put together
the
business
accelerator program there, which
business cases to, put their game out to market themselves rather than pitch it to a gaming company. So Steve's a gamer. So that was a pretty dream job for him, actually.
I do enjoy the odd game from time to time.
No throwing you under the bus. Look, there's no shame here.
Yeah.
You do you, boo.
Well, mate, there's nothing shameful about my gaming.
So, in terms of background, Steve had an awesome job. He really did. But, as he said, the opportunity cost at the moment of another year of his career versus an opportunity like this. And I think we've both had experiences in life that have put us on different trajectories, and I think you never know what skills you're going to learn and people you're going to meet that will either help your career or push you in another direction that you might not have even known about.
Oh, and underlying even my role at Media Design School was still that interest in entrepreneurial activity, startups, and being in behind your startup as well, whatever you might want to call it, your growing clothing company. I think my interest really from now, I don't think I'll go back into a professional job, ideally. So the kids are waking up. So we're going to have to round this one up pretty soon. Are there any topics that we need to hit before we...
Just that this is the first of many. Yeah, we've got so much to share with you guys about this adventure.
Yeah.
Hey, mate.
You want to jump into this one, Riv?
Oh, this is River, by the way. Yeah. This is child number 1.
Hey.
He's 3.5. How old are you, Riv? 3.
That's one, my lad.
So thanks for watching, and thanks for following this journey if you are. Radical Sabbatical on Instagram. We'll put the link up.
Hello.
And yeah, feel free to give us any feedback on what you want to hear about. We're open to it all, and we're happy to...
How often and when are we going to do these?
We're going to do these weekly, by the way.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're just going to share the realities of it in case any of you all want to know or want to do it. Or you can comment, because this is YouTube. You can comment and tell us what you want to hear about, and we'll see you next week.